This is wild. An investigation done by the Heritage Foundation's Oversight Project discovered that almost every single signature of Joe Biden's during his presidency was signed using an Autopen, meaning that all of the documents that he signed were being used by a computer-saved signature and not done by hand. They found that almost every signature was Autopen, except for one of the most famous ones on the letter where he was announcing he was dropping out for running for president last election. As you can see here, Autopen, Autopen, and then here it is on the letter of him dropping out of the race. Clearly a different signature, and you can see also it is underlined. Now, Autopen is not new. It's legally been around for the president since 2005, since President Bush's presidency, but it's typically used while presidents are on vacation, like Barack Obama in 2013. The 60 plus days that President Trump has been president, we've watched him by hand sign a whole lot of executive orders and documents. So now people are bringing up the 7 pardons that were signed on January 19th, President Joe Biden's last day in office, saying that they were all Autopen. Other people are more concerned with that signature with the underline that was used when he dropped out of the race, wanting to bring in question different clemency orders and pardons that were signed using that same underline signature, quite different from the Autopen.
I guess they should have handed out more preemptive pardons, you're saying.
Listen, by the way, I wonder if those were auto-signed as well, because I would challenge the validity of it. You never know. Listen, the guy didn't even know what he was doing, but I'll tell you, the pardons, he knew what he was doing. I said it months before. He's going to pardon himself. And yes, I almost said to the president, listen, in the joint session speech, why don't you ask everybody that got a pardon to just stand up and tell us why you got a pardon.
The Ghostwriter is manufactured in the USA and can help you manage your time and increase your efficiency by allowing the option of delegating your signature. Use of the machine is simple, as after printing your letter, you insert your signature card in the Ghostwriter. The signature card is similar to a credit card in that no one can use it unless you give it to someone else. Once inserted, line your letter up with the signature area and then either press a button on the panel or press a pedal that comes with the machine to begin signing. Within seconds, the signature is done. Your letter is finished, and by removing the signature card, no one can reproduce your signature.
Over the course of administration, certainly your signature can change. So the Autopen is usually reflective of the most current signature. What we notice is that Joe Biden's signature never changed over the course of those 4 years, which, back to your point, shows and shows good evidence that this was always the Autopen. There was never a physical signature. I do have sources at the White House that said that President Biden utilized the Autopen more than any other president in our history. And when you talk about, well, who assigns the Autopen? At the end of the day, all eyes should be looking at the staff secretary. The staff secretary sits in the West Wing, is in constant communication with the president or whoever is pulling the strings in Joe Biden's case. And they're the ones that facilitate from the start to the finish, all the drafts, all the legal jargon, using the Office of General Counsel, say it's domestic policy or National Security Council. They're the conduit between all of those facets. And then when it's finally ready to go pen to paper, the staff secretary instructs for Autopen. So I would be looking at the staff secretaries. It was Neera Tanden. President Biden had 3, and that's pretty normal for the turnover. But Neera Tanden, Stephanie Feldman, and Jessica Hertz.
Press Secretary, many are concerned about the validity of President Biden's official actions and also his pardons of the possible criminal actions of individuals such as his family members and Liz Cheney, as information is emerging that many of his official actions were auto-signed. Possibly even the pardons, and without his knowledge or consent. Does the White House have any information available currently that Biden was actually the one that approved and signed those pardons? And second question, will the DOJ investigate whether President Biden's cognitive decline allowed unelected staff to push through radical policy and pardons without his known approval?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I can check in with our folks here who may know the answer to that question and get back to you.
Like forging a signature is obviously a very serious crime. You can't uphold a document if it was fraudulent, if the individual didn't sign it or have any understanding of this is what power of attorney is, actually. And so are you making the case, some legal scholars at Heritage Foundation have made this case, that these executive orders or laws that Joe Biden signed may not actually be valid if he, in fact, didn't sign them?
I think if you sign any document and you don't have capacity, the mental capacity and inability to know what you're signing, it does challenge the validity of a document. It's not something that I've looked into as of yet. Obviously, this is new news, but I will definitely be recommending that we look into it. I think that it's strange. I would really like to know, most importantly, who signed it, if he knew that it was being signed. Obviously it's not a fake signature, it's an auto signature, but the point is, it's inappropriate. You are the commander in chief. This is big deal stuff that you're doing. And to see that most were auto signatures, that's concerning. That's really concerning. We have to look into it.